Assalamu alaikum. So today is 21st of May 2025, and as suggested in my previous blog, which was made a few days ago, sharing a happy moment in our family where uh, my sister-in-law's younger son Bilal had his nikah. So it went really well. His cousins and my daughters, Rania Daud and Mina Daud, really enjoyed the ceremony. And it was really happy moments. So I'm really happy for my sister-in-law, Sohail Bhai, and of course for Bilal and Umar Tiwana. Now, while I was, as suggested, I was staying at Lahore, working with Subturing Brad bot, which was facilitated by ChatGPT and provides expert economic analysis representing mainly the work of Professor Bradford D. Long of University of California, Berkeley. So, the work which I was doing has culminated into few brief textbooks, understanding some great perspectives whereby we could simultaneously have economic valuation and cultural valuation as a method to measure economic progress and economic development. And today I came up with an interesting idea because every day I would spend few hours contemplating before going to sleep that how I should really connect the dots. So amazingly, really what the work I'm really doing is really focused towards connecting society with markets. Whereas few of the discussion points which are already being put in the textbooks is that imagine I have been chair of department economics department at University of Management and Technology for more than 5 years, representing from 2012 to 2017, and it was the business school of the university which had a very thriving, great economics department. While I was director, Center of Graduate Studies for a bit more than a year, and therefore I was managing PhD programs and MS programs as well while teaching Harvard Business School course, and especially Michael Porter's great theoretical contribution he made by introducing the concept of shared values, which is very different from social responsibility, corporate social responsibility, and it really asks the researchers to understand business process, and by means of a business process, social welfare can be created. It's like later on when I joined UMT again in 2022 with a PhD student, I really worked on it, and there were similarities between economic zones and horizontal development of economic zone and vertical. Vertical suggests that you are having a cluster development and you are adding to value addition in the business processes through cluster development. While learning by doing should be being part of the global value chain. Learning by doing would be happening within the cluster, and so technology would be adopted. Latest technologies would be represented by the businesses and their production processes, increasing labor productivity and capital productivity. While horizontal is that that cluster will have a positive effect on the peripheries, the communities, local communities, improving their education and, of course, providing greater, higher quality health facilitation. So shared values is something which is much similar, but inherently it is also about because it was a course on micro competitiveness. It is this shared value would guide individual firms as well, individual businesses, individual entrepreneurs, and individual startups, and definitely represents the culture which technology firms represent, because for technology firms it could be Tesla, it could be SpaceX, it could be Amazon, it could be Google, it could be YouTube, it could be Facebook, it could be Meta, where the employees are represented through certain skills which are technical, while at the same time uh, their productivity is uh, quite enhanced, while they are really contributing to the revenues and the profit of the company. I mean, it is true for all technology firms. I mean, Yahoo had a great employee culture. You can have leisure time, you can work from home. Well, you represent a definition of a really productive labor. I mean, having said this, so I was today I was then trying to build up a story. I mean, imagine, so simple that management sciences represent qualitative analysis, mainly microanalysis, business studies, PhD research, postgraduate research represents microanalysis, while adopting qualitative methodologies, survey methods, and other methods which might be interviews and storytelling, while then quantifying it a bit through scoring or by giving certain set of scores, in a sense that descending or ascending order, to define preferences and quality. While in anthropology as well, which is a science of society, I mean, management science is the science of markets and businesses at micro level mainly. Society is the science which is represented through anthropological studies, which are cultural studies, studies to understand traditional societies. And anthropology also takes up an approach which is defined through qualitative data analysis, while at the same time, I mean, understanding human behavior through cultural and traditional aspects. I mean, understanding local cultures, understanding what are the preferences of the local communities. I mean, that's what anthropological studies talk about, or maybe in sociology as well. While being an economist, I am trying to link these 2 points: society with markets. While I know, and I have in the textbook, greatly discussed it as well. This notion that economics should be represented by epistemology, that is practiced in anthropology, where it represents qualitative data analysis, while economics, generally the macroeconomics, would be relying on macroeconomic data through mainly household surveys are provided, the data provided by the government, or represented through a consolidation of international data set, which is World Development Indicators by World Bank. IMF also provides the data while coordinating with the central banks across the world. But at the same time, economics also represent financial data, which is very rich and direct information about markets and how they would be representing prosperity within the society. Bloomberg has a great repository of financial data sets. While at the same time, while I was at PRIME, Pakistan Research Institute of Market Economy, that is an initiative by a friend who also studied with me at International Institute of Social Studies doing his master's in public administration. Ali Salman would offer me that I should be a director for PRIME in 2018. While we were really then working on the ideas to meet Chamber of Commerce across Punjab province, and then start collecting data to create a data repository about local businesses through cultural aspects, through business competitiveness aspects, and what are the indigenous dynamics, the issues which businesses face, while it could be representing public policy, government regulation, or then culture of the society. Like what are the trends to then define a successful and competitive business within Punjab province, while cities might be Faisalabad, the textile city, or peripheries of Lahore, that's industrial area, might be representing the culture in which, the local culture in which Pakistani businesses really perform. What we were doing was, absolutely the idea was to take a microeconomic approach to then undertake survey methodology to then collect data and then transform it into quantitative measures, giving them scores, or representing them through dummy variables, or just ranking certain business aspects of competitiveness, and then collect the data quarterly, which is 4 times in a year, and then really guide the government and even the businesses through the data, and understand and analyze the data itself, which could be statistical exploration. I mean, which is kind of understanding basic statistics, averages, standard deviations, and through regression lines. While at the same time, when we have significant data, quarterly data of local businesses, we could undertake macro analysis, which would be using time series econometrics, cross-section econometrics, or panel data analysis, which is represented through generalized method of movements, which is kind of where you present system of equations, which you can guide in an empirical analysis through econometric package, which is computer programs where you can do a bit of coding. I mean, eViews is a great computer program, a package, statistical package. Stata is another one. So, what I'm trying to say is, this business aspect really needs to be understood. That's one point, while society is another point, and so much work has to be done to really then understand these two basic foundational concepts, representing such a wide range of empirical strategies. I mean, management science is represented through survey methodologies only, micro data analysis, anthropology again, qualitative micro data analysis, economics representing macro data analysis, empirical studies represented through data sets which are perception based, outcome based, but more importantly measured through monetary values, GDP measured in dollars, or inflation rate in percentage, or debt servicing in terms of dollars or percentage. While there can be sectoral representation of the economic activity, or how capital is formed through capital formation indicators, and represent socio-economic data as well through scores that what is literacy rate in Pakistan, or health facilitation, or quality of education measures. But yet again, what we are doing is trying to connect society with markets. And why would economics be so concerned about in the world is that there are just so many billionaires in the world. So though there are not so many billionaires in the world, I mean, India has few billionaires, America is mainly dominating in number of billionaires. Elon Musk is the richest man, and then Facebook, all those technology firms of representative entrepreneurs who are billionaires. Bill Gates, somebody who's a really pioneer technologist in the world, and the philanthropist through Melinda and Gates Foundation is somebody who the world looks up to him for his philanthropic activities, his NGO, and he's a billionaire. While maybe Pakistan might not have a billionaire yet, and many other countries, developing countries in Africa and Latin America. But then yes, world is quite concerned that why there are so many billionaires while still there is poverty. I mean, this is kind of a emotional point of view, which represents limitation of understanding economics. Of course, billionaires, the billion-dollar businesses would represent far greater risk. I mean, yes, Enron was not ethical. I mean, the practices, the bookkeeping by Enron in early 2000 was not ethical, and thereby it caused a recession in the United States of America. Like, this subprime mortgage crisis as well. If you this unethical or risky financial instruments developed through real estate bonds market would then really these financial instruments would really collapse, in a sense that when those risky financial instruments were not being paid back by through mortgages, because the American economy was already undergoing through a recessionary process, and thereby this 2008 financial recession happened, and then capitalist economics was really, even in the United States of America, was really seen with skepticism that there needs to be changes made in economics. And if you, economic theory, as consumption and income. If you have read microeconomics, it's simple. You say, okay, so if I want to consume something, I need to be considerate about the prices and the income I have. I mean, that's such a linear relationship. Well then, an economist like me would be represented, my analysis would be represented through econometrics, non-linear system of equations, but still there's a limitation that we have a data which is macro, and it is just average data. I mean, imagine for national GDP, I mean, how can it really measure institutional progress, how incomes are distributed within a nation state? There can be few rich, a bit of middle class, and a lot of poor, and still then you have a little bit of higher GDP. So there's a lot of things needs to be considered, but then even average data points are very effective. For example, for finance ministry in Pakistan or any other country, I mean, ministry is concerned with macroeconomic stabilization, and definitely these financial indicators have the real relevance. So financial markets are really important to then define the foundations of economic progress, and then it would matter to sustain economic progress as well. While with risk, as what I'm saying is that businesses, billion-dollar businesses have greater risks of losses, and thereby one needs to really then understand the processes of wealth generation. It is about consumer markets, consumer welfare, efficiency, economies of scale through automation and capital-intensive activities, which represents technology innovation. While at the same time, I mean, poor might be represented through exploitation, in a sense that there is more physical work that will be involved when you define unskilled labor, whereas labor productive would be defined through highly productive, large multinationals. So if when we talk about rich people or poor people, one has to really understand that rich people, if they have more leisure time, their leisure might pose a risk which might have health consequences. So even rich people have very disciplined lives to then really maintain their leadership and this ingenuity to add value to their business. So it is represented by hard work. Sometimes they work a bit of 20 hours a day, while they might have some leisure, and they have a larger consumption basket representing through luxuries as well, which is really about aesthetic values instead of automation and mechanization, where quality is maintained, but still there is no personal, a bit of less of a personal identification of the product. So poor, the labor might be represented with hard work as well, while they also be exposed with health risk or with low incomes. So government can play a great role while having safety nets for the poor and the labor class, while